So a while back I made a video talking about anime characters and the scents that I thought they would use if they existed in real life. It's a fun concept that you guys seem to enjoy, so here I am with a second part. As a fragrance enthusiast myself with over 70 purchased bottles and having tested too many scents to count, we'll be using the following criteria to determine which fragrance will be the best for each character. Financial status, so how much money this character has and how much money are they willing to spend. Is the character a man or a woman? Character personality, do they seek attention or prefer to be more in the shadows? Are they extroverted or introverted? Does style matter to them? Anything that lets us know more about the character. Weather conditions the character is usually around. And finally, the type of environment. These can even help you when choosing your next fragrance, so keep that in mind as well. As a heads up, there will be certain spoilers, just minor, for this anime. They're all from last year or earlier, but just so you are aware. Plus, if this video does well, I'll take it as a homework to study and test more female fragrances so I can come up with the ultimate female list. As of right now, we'll mainly be focusing on male characters. We do have some females here and there, but it's mainly because I have way more experience and exposure at male scents. So without further ado, let's pick up the list in no particular order with unless you lived under a rock, you know who Aqua is. The son of Aqua Hoshino, an incredibly popular idol that won the hearts of millions of fans that met a terrible fate in the anime Oshinoko. Interestingly enough though, Aqua had a previous life as Ai's gynecologist and was a massive fan as well. You can see that pinpointing his personality is a bit rough, since it's a teenager's body with the mind of a man. So he definitely is someone more mature than your average high schooler. He definitely is a serious and confident guy. Doesn't really seek attention unless it benefits him in his goals. For weather conditions, since he's in Tokyo, the weather there changes according to season. So he needs a scent that can be versatile enough. In terms of money, he's not rich, but neither struggles, so we can say pretty average. For his environment, he's a high schooler but a young actor too. He even has a cute girlfriend that allows him to maintain a good public image. He does take care of his style when in public while being a bit laid back in school. So with all this in mind, the best scent for Aqua would be Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum, one of my personal favorite of all time. It's a blue fragrance, so something you can use literally anywhere, any situation, anytime. Blue fragrances are popular for their versatility and mass appeal. It's a green sweet apple scent, but in a very sexy and appealing way, with a very small fresh undertone that works wonders to balance the scent overall. It lasts 10 plus hours no problem, and you can literally use it for school, formal events, casual meetings, anything honestly. It's all a matter of how many sprays you use. It's a great fragrance for a young but refined person that will leave a good impression since it smells different than most of your Invictus or Aqua di Gios.
You are my special.
An iconic character from Jujutsu Kaisen, totally overpowered, cool, and good looking. Money is definitely not an issue since he sits at the top of the sorcerers. And even during one episode we see that his basic white shirts are really expensive. So we'll assume he has some wealth behind him. Some people complain that Gojo lacks personality and it's a very bland character. I'll leave that up to discussion, but I personally find him very energetic, confident, sometimes more than what he should. Definitely loves attention, and there's something about him that every time I see him, I feel like he's someone very clean, very tidy. Obviously he's very good looking and incredibly popular among women and men. For the weather, same thing, he's in Tokyo, so a scent that's versatile for every season is kind of necessary. He has no established environment. He can be on the outskirts peddling curses, in a meeting with the higher ups, going around Shibuya just chilling, or at Jujutsu High with his students. The range of situations that he's at are so vast that versatility is going to be key when choosing a scent for him. So let me bring Aventus by Creed. You probably already heard about this one. I mean, it's a legendary scent that made niche houses appeal more to mainstream audiences. It's a very expensive fragrance for sure, but it's something that a man like Gojo would use. Modern, fresh, clean, woody, elegant, sexy, and incredibly versatile. You can use this scent while using shorts and a t-shirt or using a suit and it'll be incredible no matter what. Nami is quite a staple in One Piece, one of the original characters from the East Blue Saga filled with iconic moments. And as you know, she loves money. You can make the case that she's the wealthiest of the crew since most of the other members don't really care about treasure and money. So we'll believe that price is not a problem for her. Her personality is very straightforward, she's very extroverted, always shows her emotions and feelings, very mature when she needs to and childish in other situations. She knows she's beautiful though, and totally abuses it. But the weather, she's an expert when it comes down to it. And even though One Piece has very drastic weather changes, island per island, you can confidently expect Nami to be ready for them. For simplicity's sake, we'll take the ocean and outdoor environments since that's where the crew spends most of their time. Environment is really hard to choose since it's all over the place. So in order to make it easier, we'll just assume the fragrance Nami would use while being on the sea traveling with the crew in more tropical places. For a woman, trust me, every environment matters a lot when choosing a perfume. To be honest with you, I had a couple of good options for Nami. Some very marine, others more on the sweet side, but I ended up choosing one that's in the middle. It's one of the best female scents I've tested in a while. Parfums de Marley Valaya, it's a very pleasing, beautiful scent. For whatever reason, whenever I test it, I feel relaxed, happy. I honestly don't have the proper words to describe the feeling. It starts off with some very bright citruses, and as it dries down, the floral and clean parts start to come out, which are the true essence of this fragrance. Definitely not a scent for a teenager, but any woman above 20 should have an easy time pulling it off. It's fresh, clean, very sexy, and smells awesome in the air while being outdoors with a decent performance. Let's take a 360 now and focus on a very cheap but still good fragrance, inoffensive, subtle, fresh, and clean scent. And no better character to wear it than Ishikawa Kyotaru, the protagonist from The Dangers in My Heart. He sees himself as a tough guy with a psychopathic nature, but in reality he's just an inoffensive teenager that's trying to find his place. And don't be fooled by his clothing choices, since his dark gothic style is just a facade. Now at his age, many of us don't know anything about fragrances, but it's very common to own fresh and clean scents since they're the easiest to use. You can see by his personality that the less attention he gets, the better, and his fragrance would probably be something that his mother or sister bought for him since he really wouldn't care. So with all this in mind, Lacoste L1212 Blanc is the standard choice for him and honestly any character with his personality. Very laid back, it's pleasant if sprayed heavily, but it's more of a high school daily scent that won't offend anyone but won't leave any big impressions either. Florals, grapefruit, and musk, and that's about everything the scent offers. Again, a good daily choice for someone that just wants to wear something for school or casual stuff without putting too much thought behind it. Considered by many as one of the greatest villains in anime history, Johan is one of those characters that steals the scene every time he's on. His personality really changes depending on the context it's in. On the outside he seems like a charming and smart individual, very charismatic and incredibly good at talking to people. In reality though, he's a sociopath that wants to literally kill everyone and is not afraid of the consequences of his actions. He's cold, cynical, violent, and willing to do whatever it takes to reach his goal. Johan participates in typically very common situations, all the way from the 60s to the 90s, which is the timeline the story takes place in. He wears very formal clothes, as that's how it was during those times, and you can find him as a university student, attending meetings, and very normal circumstances. Now, most of the story of Monster happens in Germany, and digging online I found that the weather is usually cool or slightly humid. This means that the scent to choose will have to be on the darker or sweeter side. And financially speaking, he does seem to be a very influential person from the shadows, as well as having no problem with money, but he's not the type of character who would really care about spending a lot of money on a scent. A perfect scent for him would be Yor Parfum, a magical scent that fits perfectly for a mysterious, cold but elegant character. Make no mistake though that this fragrance is not for kids, or even young adults. This is a very refined scent that requires a lot of confidence to actually pull it off, since the perfume can actually wear the user. Best way to describe it, it is a leathery, dark, sweet and powdery scent. The main note is iris, and you can definitely notice it since it has a very clear lipstick vibe that I personally love, but it's only good to use in cold weathers and formal situations for the most part. Funny enough, this fragrance can only be bought in Europe, so that's a cool little touch. Another very cold, intelligent, and mysterious character is Levi Ackerman, one of the fan favorites of Attack on Titan, and for good reason. The guy is just a complete badass. His character is quite interesting since you never really know what's going on through his mind. He definitely is a very loyal character that is willing to take the hard choices to achieve his goals. And while he might not look like it, he deeply cares for all of his comrades and enjoys having a good time with them. During the series, his financial status is not discussed that much, but in the past he basically had nothing at all. So we can assume that even if he had the money, he wouldn't really break the bank for a perfume. The weather during AOT is very ambient. It looks like somewhere around the 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, a very relaxing and chill weather. His environment is basically outdoors, slaying titans or exploring outside the walls. He is in constant activity, so a sweet or dark scent is out of the picture, and totally needs something fresh or at the very least clean. Chanel Platinum Egoist has everything a character like Levi needs. He's a fougere, so that means a barbershop-like scent, and out of the shower, masculine, clean smell. It works incredibly well in spring and summer, for any casual or even formal situation, but it's not something that everyone would use. It does require some level of maturity and confidence, but for the AOT setting, this would work wonders. And even though it's Chanel, since it's more of a classic scent, it's not really that expensive. Might be an unheard character to some, but Captain Kudo appears in one of the best romance animes from 2023, in my opinion at least, My Happy Marriage, and it's one of the most original love stories that I've seen in anime recently. Now, going back to Kiyoka, he's the head of the Kudo family and commander of a very powerful army. He's a very righteous, straightforward, cold, and even menacing character, at least from the outside. When he's with Mio though, he's a very charming, caring, lovable man that's willing to do anything for his wife and has her as his priority. I would say he's the exemplification of what a true Japanese gentleman would be like. For the weather, the story takes place during an alternate version of the Taisho era, which covers around 1912 to 1926. So this opens up a path for a green, floral, or herbal scent, since that was the only kind of profile you will find during those times. That plus a spring setting the anime takes part in. Since he's the head of an entire family and a military commander, he definitely needs something formal, yet it must be elegant, refined, and quite luxurious for the type of man he is. The fragrance we're going to choose must be something Japanese royalty would use. Sergio of Kovi is one of those scents that just smells expensive, luxurious but very elegant and transparent. It's one that I've tested multiple times and plan on buying. You have very high quality citruses like orange and bergamot that make it very fresh and natural smelling, only to be balanced by some creaminess as it dries down. It's just a magical scent. Our final character is no other than Yor Forger from Spy Family. Socially awkward, for sure, very shy, timid, reserved, and prefers to have short conversations. Don't let that distract you from the fact that she's a very kind-hearted person that deeply cares about her made-up family. And although she lacks typical housewife skills, she's someone that constantly tries to improve. The weather is very seasonal based on what we've seen from the anime, a bit more on the cooler side of things, but we'll need something versatile to fit in any season. For the environment, as you might know, Yor has two jobs. The first one is at the city hall in a very basic office job, and the second is of course as an assassin, even nicknamed the Thorn Princess. And when she's not working, she's chilling at home or doing some house chores or taking care of her family. Financially speaking, we know that her husband Lloyd doesn't have a problem with money. But Yor is the type of character that wouldn't really spend a lot into a fragrance. She does care about her looks though. But I don't see her type of character as someone who would use something very sweet or obnoxious, but more of a clean and subtle scent. All that is to say that YSLY Libre Eau de Parfum is a perfect choice for a character like her. It has white florals, smells clean but very feminine. It gives you this vibe of a relaxed, chill, composed woman that doesn't really care to draw a lot of attention. It can be used during any time, any situation, preferably during spring or summer, but still fits perfectly into any occasion. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe discovered a new scent along the way. Let me know in the comments what other scents or characters you would like to see in the future. Or if you think a different fragrance would be better for the characters we covered, feel free to write it down below. Thanks for watching, and on to the next one.